So today we are doing, an exterior scene. In exterior, while, creating an exterior scene, I'll show you certain tools, okay, which you will be using those tools, frequently. Okay. I'll be taking certain surface primitive. Okay. I'm in modeling. I'm in surface primitive. Okay. Certain primitives I'll be picking from here, and I'll be adding few mesh for that. Then I'll be editing that. Okay. Got it? So we are in modeling in our status bar, pick modeling here in shelf curves and surfaces. So this time I'm picking NURBS plane. Okay, NURBS plane. So when I click on this plane, I'm getting it on the center here. So first thing, okay, I have to make it quite larger so that, for that I have to scale it. To scale, shortcut is R, the keyboard button R. So see, I'm able to scale this now. Now, what is that you are seeing here? Are we able to see the object here? Guys, you have to unmute yourself. What is that we are seeing?
The square rectangle.
Okay, this is a wireframe. This is wireframe mode. If I want to see the object, what I have to press?
Number 4.
5. 4 is for wireframe. 5 is for object mode. See? 5 is for object mode. See? Okay, to change the background, it is Alt B. If you press Alt B, this background will be, changing. Okay. Now, when it comes to the mesh part, there is no mesh in this. Apart from this outline, there's no mesh. So for that, what you have to do is select this plane. In the channel box, there's an input button. In input, click on this make NURB plane. Here patches UV is there, right? It's 1 is there. So I'll make it 15. I'll make it 15 by 15. So let's see. You can see mesh here. Now see, we have so much of mesh, right? So if you want, you can increase this over here by adding some other number. Now this particular plane is a flat surface. If you see, this is a flat surface, right? Make sure you have to be familiar with navigation, navigating in this particular canvas. Alt plus left mouse button, Alt plus middle mouse button, Alt plus right mouse button. So these and all you have to keep on doing it. Press spacebar, you see 3 orthographic view, front view, top view, side view, and we have perspective view here. Again, just take your cursor over there, press spacebar, you get into that particular view. Okay. Now I'm going to show you one tool. So I'm in surface here. See, this is a surface model, right? This is not a polygon model. This is not a poly model. For poly model, we have edit mesh, mesh tool, this and mesh. This 3 menu and the tools for editing purpose. For surface model, we have curves, surface, these two. Under curves and surface, whatever is there, this are for surface, editing these primitives, curves or surface primitives. So I have taken plane, and for the plane, we have added few mesh. Now the tool which I'm going to show is go to surface. You have sculpt geometry tool. Sculpt geometry tool. See, the name itself says this is used for sculpting purpose. So when I pick this tool, so you can see our cursor looks like, something like this. And if you go to tool settings here, this one, tool settings, the second one, tool settings from the last, this is our tool settings part. So here we have certain parameters here. There are sculpt parameters. You see these are the parameters here. This is push. I can push this, right? I'm sculpting, I'm just pushing it. This is pull. I pull this out. Okay. This one is, like smoothen. Let's say I do some pulling here. See, like this. And you see, there's one more shortcut to increase or decrease the brush size. You see here, radius UL is there. I can increase, our brush size is increasing. U and V. In this axis as well. Something like this. So there's another shortcut, hold B, come here, hold B. When you press B, you get to see two arrows side by side, and left click simultaneously you have to do. You need to hold B, left mouse button, drag towards right. The brush size will increase, towards left, brush size will decrease. Okay. Okay, I'm just sculpting the area, something like this. If you want, you can smoothen this as well. You can smoothen. There is something, like relax. It will even, the mesh will get even more relaxed. So I have taken tool, sculpt geometry tool, and I have done it like this. Now this looks something like a terrain, right? It's like a terrain. So what I do is, I'm gonna make it something like this, and I'm gonna duplicate this particular mesh, push it, behind backside. Then again R for scale. This y-axis, in R only y-axis, I'm just gonna lift this like this, and I'm gonna make it something like this. This one, it's over here like this. I'm gonna place it somewhere here like this. Down. Again, I pick this, surface, under surface, sculpt geometry tool. In option box, you have it something like this. I'm gonna push inside. Or else even I can make this thing to get relaxed. Okay, I think this is fine. So I just wanted to create a simple mountain. We created one terrain and a mountain, right? We created a terrain and a mountain, which is something like this. This terrain, it should be even more flatter. I think this is okay, right? Any doubts up to here? No doubts. Okay, the next step. I want a castle here. I want to create a castle. For castle, I'm taking NURBS cube, and my NURBS cube is somewhere here. Okay, the NURBS cube is here. So what I do is, I'll make sure NURBS cube is on the surface. Okay. So even in the bottom also, I'm gonna check whether it is in the surface, on the surface or not. So let's say if my object is somewhere here, if I want to get to closer, press F. Press F, you can see the object like this. Okay, so I have placed my NURBS cube somewhere here. Then what I'll do, I'll pick a cylinder, one cylinder. In top view, I'm gonna see where it is. So I'm just taking a cylinder. I'm gonna scale it to smaller. This is a cylinder. I'm gonna place it here. Something like this. I'm gonna place it here. Then I'll come to this particular point. So it's something like this. So I have a cylinder like this. Then what I do, so I'm creating a simple castle just with a default primitive and I'm scaling it. That's it. I'm taking a cone now. Cone is somewhere here. So I select the cone here. I place exactly in the center of the cylinder. So I'm using top view for aligning this. So I'm going to place it here. Okay. It's like this. Then I am selecting this too. I'm going to duplicate this, place it here. Again, I'm selecting this, drag and select, drag, select all this, control deselect, which you don't want to select. Then I'm gonna duplicate, control D for duplicate. I'm placing this here. Okay. So, well, it's getting some shape, right? After this, what I'll do, um, I'll select this, press up arrow, select the entire group, the cube group, duplicate, control D for duplicate. After duplicate, press R. You have to scale it to smaller. So I need to scale this to smaller, something like this. After that, press F for focus to down. I'm going to place it somewhere here. Like this. Duplicate, control D, place it here, then shift D. So you get multiple pieces like this, right? I'm selecting this one again, control D. Somewhere here, like this, control D here, place it here, then shift D. Like this. Now what I do, I select all the top cube, press 4 for wireframe mode, control deselect, holding control, you have to deselect the model which you don't want to select. Then I press up arrow so that the entire group is selected. Then again control D, place it here. Like this. So any doubts up to here? Any doubts? Did you understood? Banda MD? Babunga? Guys, unmute.
Not up, sir.
Great.
Yes,
So next step is I have to group this entire model. I'm selecting everything except the surface, or else even better what I'll do is I don't want the surface to be selected again and again. So I select the bottom surface as well as the mountain. I create a layer. I add these two in a layer by creating a layer. These two is selected, not the castle part. Here, this is create a new layer and assign selected object. This one, just create a layer. No objects will be assigned into that. I'm selecting this one. First one. So what happens here? V stands for visible. Double click on this layer. You name this as ground or ground and mountain. Okay. Here there's an empty box, right? Click here. T stands for transform. sorry, T stands for template. This is a template mode. You see this gray shaded wireframe, right? This is a template mode. Okay. You click one more time. This is R. R stands for reference mode. Okay. R stands for reference mode. Let it be in reference mode. In reference mode, we can see the object, but we cannot select the object. If I want to select the object, you have to press again, make it none. Then you can select. Okay. Let it be in R. Now what I do, I select this castle. I'll be doing a group. How to do a grouping? Means I have to make a group of all this object. It is Control plus G, Control G group. Now, this is a pivot point, right? What you see, green, yellow, blue, an arrow. This is a pivot point. When I do the group, automatically it comes somewhere here. Why? Because once you do the grouping, it comes in the center of the grid. See, this is the grid, right? This is the grid. In the center of the grid, it comes this particular group. You know, after you make a group, the pivot point will be on the center of the grid. So after this, after making a group, I want the pivot point to be center of the object. Do not deselect anything. Let it be in a group mode. Come to modify center pivot. Modify center pivot. So now what happens? The pivot point will go stick into the center of this object, right? Press 5, you can see the object. Okay, the next step, Control D, I'm gonna duplicate this and press R. I'm gonna scale it a bit down, lift this up. Then Shift D for duplicate special, Shift D, something like this. You have a castle, something like this. Then what I do, I'm gonna duplicate one piece. I'm gonna place it here. I select this. I delete some part, then down. Stick it to the front like this. Okay, got it? Then after this, I'm selecting all this again, press up arrow, then I group it again. One more time, I'm gonna do a group, and this particular pivot point, modify center pivot. Now what I do, I press Control D. One, I'm placing it here. Here, and I press Control D. One more duplicate. I'm gonna place it here. Okay. Then I select this, press up arrow. I select this, press up arrow, one more up arrow, entire thing is getting selected. And I'm gonna scale it quite bigger. The center one, I'm gonna place it like this. Okay. So this is how it looks. Okay. So any doubts up to here? So I just played with, like I have picked only plane for mountain on the ground I have taken cube, cylinder, and cone to create this castle. I just do the play. I have done the placement. I have done scaling. I did group, and I played with making group and duplicates. That's it. Nothing else. Okay. Now, I'll go to display heads up. Not heads up. Okay, let me play. So I'm in this particular place now. Here, this icon is there, right? Right next to that is a render one. So here, what I do, right next to that, you can see render setting. Click on this render setting. You get a render setting. In this, multiple render engines will be there. You'll get to know what are these render engine. For time being, use only Maya software. Okay. Then render this. Click on this second button here. You get to see this, the final output. Okay. So now what I do, I turn off this. Let me save this. My computer DRSTP batch 3 new folder. Maya or exterior underscore castle. Save. So this will save in .mb format. MB stands for Maya binary. Okay. So now I'm gonna duplicate this. I make it smaller. So I'm gonna place this just below the castle part. Rise it up. I make it something like this. Okay, somewhere here like this. I'll take surface sculpt geometry tool. I'm gonna relax this sculpt tool. Relax. So I'm gonna push this Then again, I'll take this relax. Okay, so now push it down. We'll keep it up. It is something like this. Then what I do, I select all, on one object of the each castle, press up arrow, lift this up. Something like this. So that means I have added one extra object here. And I have the surface here. One more surface. For this, I would like to apply a material. Okay. Material. I want a liquid, ocean material. So what I'll do, that's a simple step I'll show you. Select this, right click, just hold right click. You have to hold right click. Just drag your cursor down. There's an option called assign new material. Assign new material. So you have to leave your right click here at this particular point. What happens? You get a material window. I would like to apply one material called ocean shader. You have to just click on it. That's it. Just click on ocean shader. So what happens? We have applied ocean shader for this particular object. Okay. We have applied ocean shader for this object. Now it's like an island. Again, I'll go to surface and sculpt geometry tool. In the tool settings, I just want to pull outside certain things. Let me relax this. Okay, it's done. See, there's a continuation up to here. We have made it up to here like this, and this is an ocean. Okay. So to render this, click on this one. You get to see ocean and the object. Okay. Understood? Any doubts in this? There's a next process, like we have to do a lighting for this. Then after lighting, we get a realistic output. That and all you'll get to see later. Okay. In ocean shader. Anyhow, those and all, it's a texturing part, lighting part and all is there. You'll get to see that later separately. Okay. What you have to do is you create similar to this or something else which you like. Create a bridge over here between two different island. One island is here. Create one more island somewhere here. Create a bridge between these two islands. You can create bridge between, by using these primitives only. Like cylinder. For a wooden log, you can use cube. For a rope, you can use cylinder. Okay. Come up with a design. Okay, you can do that. You have to spend some time for that. Okay. Create two different castle and add bridge, connecting bridges. Okay. You can even create castle or like either castle or the king's place. Okay, you can create. You can even create using like a Swazi traditional buildings like that also you can create. Okay. For time being, I'll just show you how does it look when I add some light for this. Anyhow, lighting and all you will be learning later. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. In render setting, I'm just gonna pick renderer, Arnold, and in common, I'm gonna pick HD 720. Select this. So you will be learning in detail, later, lighting part and all. So I'm gonna render this. It takes some time to render. If possible, like let me show you how does it looks. Okay, it is taking. Okay, I think lighting seems to be really high. Okay, ocean part is not so clear. Okay, fine, or else. Okay, so you just try this. Let's see. I'm in software. Try this output. Okay, and you can save this image also here. Once you render this, you can go to here on the left option. You can save this image as JPEG. Any doubts? Bayabunga, Bayanda. Okay, here see, go to file, you can save this image, save image as JPEG or anything. Okay, you can pick JPEG and you can save. Okay, once the work is done, just save this as JPEG and share via WhatsApp. Okay, so if any doubts, do let me know. I'll upload the video in YouTube and I'll share you the link in some time. Okay guys, bye, have a good day. Bye guys.